What's up, it's Big Woody back here with another build video. Today we're going to be trying a temperature wrap build. I'm going to show you a nickel core, 26 gauge nickel core wrapped with Kanthal ribbon wire on the outside, which will allow your temperature control devices to read it. It's going to give you some cool little flavor notes, some decent vapor. It's going to be a hotter vape, and it's also going to allow you to get more wraps with your nickel, but it's not going to make you have to wrap like 30 to 40 wraps like it normally asks you to, because we're putting the Kanthal wire on the outside. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the build. What you're going to need for the build is going to be your basic necessity tools, such as pliers, tweezers. I use ceramic, you don't have to, just basic tweezers, Phillips screwdriver, regular flathead screwdriver. I'm going to be building my coil on a what size? What size are you, sir? Let's see. 3 and 32 size screwdriver, which is going to come out to about 2 millimeters. That's what size coil it's going to be. I'll be using a drill to straighten out my 26 gauge wire, and then I'll also be using the drill to wrap the ribbon wire around it, and I'll show you all how to be doing that. Scissors to cut the wick, cotton. I use regular cotton balls bought from any store. If you've watched any of my previous videos, like I said, use whatever cotton you feel safe vaping with. Some people say boil it, some people say don't, some people say only use organic, whatever you feel like using, your own preference. And today I'm going to be building on the Orchid V4. We're going to be doing a dual coil build. I like it. The only downside is the post holes, but it's a very nice flavor build if you can wick it right. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the build. So first things first, go ahead and grab your drill. Loosen it up. Insert one end of your nickel wire to the end. Tighten her down. Then you're going to stretch it all the way down. And then at the opposite end, you're going to grasp it with your needle nose. And the thing about nickel wires is very brittle. So you don't want to overdo this. You're just going to turn it on for about 5 seconds. Then at the end of the chuck, you're going to take your fingers and then you're going to ride the wire all the way up to the end of your needle nose. Release the needle nose. And that'll straighten your wire out a little bit, but the issue is, I mean, your nickel wire is very flimsy, so it's still going to be a little curvy, but you'll notice that the wire is still very straight. You're going to go ahead and leave your nickel wire in there. And I'm using 0.5 by 1 millimeter Kanthal ribbon wire. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead, take your ribbon wire. I leave mine on the spool for this. You're gonna take it and you're gonna insert it into the edge of the drill. And you're just gonna give it a couple pulses to get it started. And then once you get it started, it's gonna be just like a normal Clapton. You just want to keep it very, very tight. You don't need to go very fast, just keep it very, very tight. It comes out of the chuck. Keep your finger where it's at, keep your pressure where it's at. Open the chuck back up. Reinsert it. And tighten it back down and resume where you were at. You can go all the way to the end till you run out of wire. I didn't have that much, so I just used all of mine. But you're going to use about 2 feet of it. Go ahead and clip off the end. Go ahead and open your drill chuck. And you should have about 8 inches of wire. That should be more than enough to get you 2 coils with the size that we're looking at. And as you can see, I got a sloppy end here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and chop that sloppy end off. And smooth her out. And this is your end result. It's having a hard time focusing, but there we go. Alright, so you can set your drill aside. We're going to go ahead and get our tool. And like I said, we're going to do about 5 wraps each. Micro coil. 2. So you're going to pick up your Addy, and you're going to go furthest post on the positive. And I like to work one side at a time. Go ahead, tighten down the positive post, reinsert your device and try to center it over that air hole. Then go ahead and tighten down your negative. You don't want to get it too tight because you have the possibility of cutting your lead. That's good for me. We'll go ahead and snip the extra leads, get them out of our way before we insert the second. Now, a good trick with this, since you know that your second one is gonna overlap, is I like to put it on top and measure about how much I'm gonna need to cut off, and I'll go ahead and I'll pre-trim my positive side. I try to make sure you don't trim too much. And tighten her down, rearrange, get her over that air hole. Go ahead and clip that lead off that. Today I'll be using the Invader Mini by Heat Vape. Let's see what we got. Oh, too low of ohms, 0.05. It's not bad. Let's see if we can get that to change a little bit. let's move it over to my Fuchai. Let's see what it's reading on my Fuchai. So since we got 0.04, we'll go ahead and take this second coil off. Since it's only 4 coils anyway. Should bring it up to 0.08. Yeah, 0.08. Alright. Nice glow inside to out. Alright, so you got a nice burn inside to out. So there's not really a lot of fiddling we gotta do with this. We'll go ahead and reinsert our tool just to ensure that we kept our inner diameter, which we did. Alright, the thing about this Orchid, since I had to take that other coil off, is we have to ensure that we fill these juice channels, otherwise it's going to leak all over the place. So, first things first, we'll go ahead and wick our coil. So I'll move this up a little bit so y'all can watch this process. So you want just enough cotton through. That's good. Nice and tight. And we'll go ahead and cut her off. Alright. We'll go ahead and cut her off the base. Now, here is the best way to wick this that I have found. And now there's plenty of other tactics, techniques, whatever you want to call it, but this is the best way that I've found. So, what you're going to do is you're going to fold these little ears up, call them rabbit ears, and you're going to take you a little sliver of cotton, not much, just a little bit, and you're going to pull it down into that juice channel. And you're going to take your flathead and you're just going to coax it in there. And you're going to do the same thing to the other side. Take a little sliver. Pull her down. And just coax it in the juice channel. Everything else you're going to tuck up behind the coil, up on top. Leaving space underneath for air. So you can see that little space. It almost looks like a 1700 president. On this other side, we have to clog up these holes. So all you're going to do is take a little bit of cotton, and you're going to pull 2 slivers off. You're going to roll up just enough to clog those juice channels, and then you're going to pin them behind the screws of the negative posts back over towards your original coil, and then snip it off. And you're going to do the same thing with the other side. And it's just so this sucker doesn't leak everywhere, because it will if you don't clog these juice holes. Alright, today we will be using Easy Does It by Ruthless. Very, 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 very good e-juice. Let's go ahead and wet her up. Make sure you get some on the coil. Once you get some in these juice channels, you can trim off the edges if you prefer. I don't, but and there's your vapor. So she is working. So we'll make sure that our chimney is gonna fit, and she does. We will screw our chimney on. Rest. Flip her over. Grab our syringe. Unscrew the bottom. Clear up. Now I'll meet you back up top and we'll see how she vapes. We'll be using the Invader Mini by Heat Vape. Gonna be vaping on 35 degrees at 480. And let's see what happens. 0.16 coil. Has a very nice throat hit. It's a very cool vape. Once you get the initial leakiness from the Orchid, which happens all the time initially, but once the Orchid primes up, it's actually a very, very nice flavor. So, I mean, as you can see, my temperature is still at 480, so the nickel core will allow you to temperature control vape, and I will show you that on my Fuchai for those non-believers. We'll vape it at 475. It's just a very, very, very hot vape. Very big throat hit. Lots of vapor though. So I hope you enjoyed the build, and yeah, that ribbon wire with that nickel core is something different. I mean, if you got nickel laying around, I mean, it's one way. With the Kanthal wrapped around it, it beefs up the nickel, and it allows you to be able to use it a little bit more sturdy. And this build shows you that you can twist, you know, nickel with Kanthal. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, you know, can you do it? Can you do it? Yes, you can. And temperature control devices do read it once you do it, because the electricity follows the least resistant wire. With the Kanthal mixed in with it, it allows you to do fewer wraps and achieve a lower resistance, where you don't have to, you know, wrap thousands of wraps to achieve it. So it's just it's a different taste. So hope you enjoyed the video, and like always, be happy and vape on.